What if your life was a cloth, and every choice was a thread? In a quiet, forgotten village, nestled between rolling hills, there lived a girl named Elara. Her home was a small weaving shop, a place filled with the scent of wool and the rhythmic clatter of her wooden loom. By the soft glow of lamplight, she would sit for hours, her fingers dancing across the colorful threads, weaving patterns that told stories only she could see. But every day felt the same. The same cobblestone road greeted her feet each morning, The same familiar faces nodded as she passed, And the same quiet worries about money settled in her heart like dust on an old tapestry. She would walk the same path, carrying the same wicker basket, feeling as if her life was a pattern she was forced to repeat over and over with no end in sight. One night, the sky put on a spectacular show. A meteor shower rained down, painting streaks of silver across the deep, dark canvas above. Elara stood outside her shop, her face turned to the heavens. A tiny shooting star blazed its trail. She closed her eyes and whispered a secret wish into the cool night air. "I wish my life could be more." As she spoke, a soft, gentle voice seemed to echo not from the sky, but from within her own heart. It was a whisper, warm and clear, and it said, "Look again at your loom." Confused but curious, she returned to her small workshop. And there, in the quiet darkness, she saw it. The threads on her loom had begun to glow, each one emitting a faint, otherworldly light. Her eyes widened in wonder. She realized she was seeing something she had never noticed before. Every time she had made a small, brave choice, one of the threads on her loom shone with a brilliant, golden light. She remembered helping an elderly neighbor carry his groceries, and a thread brightened. She recalled staying up late to learn a difficult new word, and another thread pulsed with energy. Even trying a new, more complex weaving pattern made a thread sing with color. But then she saw the others. When she had chosen fear, when she had let doubt win, some threads had gone dull and gray. She remembered saying no to an opportunity to sell her work in the next town, too scared of rejection. A thread faded. She remembered staying silent when she desperately wanted to speak her mind, and another thread lost its luster. The loom was a mirror of her heart. A profound realization washed over Elara. Her life wasn't a finished, unchangeable cloth. It wasn't stuck. It was a tapestry she was still weaving, one line at a time, one choice at a time. The loom wasn't just a tool for her craft. It was a map of her own story, a record of her courage and her fear. So she started small. Instead of dreaming of a grand, magical change, she focused on the tiny threads she could control. She wove one new design she'd been too afraid to try. She offered one kind word to a stranger who looked lonely. She dedicated one extra hour each night to practicing her craft, her fingers flying with newfound purpose. With each small act, a new thread of light was woven into her work. Slowly but surely, people began to notice. The scarves and shawls she created seemed different. They weren't just garments anymore. They were pieces of art. "Your work feels live," a customer murmured. her fingers tracing a star-like pattern. "It gives me hope," another said. A soft smile on her face as she wrapped a shawl around her shoulders. The light Elara wove into her cloth was spreading. Soon, the whispers of her talent traveled beyond the village. Travelers from other towns, drawn by rumors of the Starlight Weaver, began to make their way to her humble shop. They came seeking the unique light and warmth that seemed to radiate from her creations. Her small counter, once dusty and empty, was now filled with the clink of coins and the happy chatter of customers. One crisp evening, as Elara was closing her shop, a young child stood mesmerized by a glowing tapestry hanging on the wall. The child looked up at her with wide, curious eyes and asked, "How did you make your life so special?" Elara knelt down, meeting the child at eye level. The cloth shimmered like a captured galaxy. She smiled gently and answered, "I didn't wait for magic to find me. I just wove one brave thread." And then another and another. As she spoke, she reached for her loom, her fingers gracefully placing a single, bright yellow thread into the growing pattern, a silent promise of the choices she would make tomorrow. The tapestry of her life was far from perfect. It was a beautiful, complex mix of brilliant, shining moments and dull, gray mistakes. There were knots of regret and frayed edges of sadness. But woven all through it was a breathtaking light, a testament to a life lived with intention, one small, brave choice at a time. Your destiny is not a finished picture hanging in a gallery. It is a fabric that you build day by day with your choices. Today's words, today's actions, today's courage, these are your threads. So as you go about your day, ask yourself, what color will you weave into your story today?